Welcome. We want to differentiate function made up of x which is equal to 1 over x squared using the first principle. So when we say the first principle is f of x prime is equal to limit when h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h. This is what we call the first principle, or the definition of the gradient function of a given function. So we need to find the gradient function or the derivative, or to differentiate. To differentiate simply means to find the gradient function that will enable us to predict the gradient at any given point of x. So if we have to use the first principle, we have to use this formula. But before I use the first principle, let me use the general form. The function that we are given is f of x is equal to 1 over, if I change this to the negative index, I'm going to have this is equal to x to the power minus 2. Now, if we are using the general form, the power multiplies with the coefficient. Here the coefficient is 1, so negative 2 multiplied by 1, we are going to have the derivative of this function equal to negative 2x. Then here the power will reduce by 1. So this is reducing by 1, which will give me negative 2x power negative 3. Again, this x to the power negative 3, I can change it to a positive indice. So this will be negative 2. When we bring this one down, it will be, the power will change to a positive. So this will be the derivative or the differentiation of this function using the general form. Now, in our question here, we have to use what we call the first principle. So the first principle is also called the limiting process. Okay, we are going to use the limiting process. So we are saying we have to find the limit of when h goes to 0 of this. So what we have to do is, where there is x plus h, we are saying in this function we have to put x plus h, wherever there is x, then minus the actual function, then divide by h. So this will be equal to limit when h goes to 0. I'll replace, this will be 1 over x plus h squared minus the actual function 1 over x squared, then here divide by h. So when you reach at this point, your goal should be to remove these fractions here in the denominator. So how do you do that? You're going to multiply these two things here. We are going to multiply this and that. That is what we are going to multiply this function with on top here. X plus h squared, then x squared. But again, we have to do it even down here. We're going to have x plus h squared, then x squared. Remember, the answer that we are getting is this one. We are getting negative 2 x to the power 3. When I multiply this with this one, we're going to have this divide by this, so this is going to simplify. We're going to have limit when h goes to 0. When I multiply this with that, I'm going to have x squared. When I multiply this with this will simplify, so I'll remain with plus, minus, I'll remain with this minus x squared all over h, then this will be x squared and x squared. So now at this point I can expand this. Okay, I can expand this. I know the expansion of that one is going to give us, so I'm going to have limit when h goes to 0. Then we try to expand this one here. I'm going to have x squared minus, if I try to expand this one, I will end up having x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Then here we are dividing this. This is h, x plus h squared, then x squared. Now here we have this one and this one negative, and this one we are going to simplify this. Here we've simplified this one and that one because we have a minus, so this minus will multiply with everything that we have there. So we are going to have limit as h approaches 0. Now negative will multiply with everything. We are going to have negative 2xh and minus, and that one minus x squared divided by h, then x, this one squared, x squared. Now I'm going to factorize h because it's common here. So this will be limit when h goes to 0 of h minus 2x minus h, then divide by h x squared. Okay, so I'm going to simplify here. Can simplify, so I'll come here. This will be limit as h approaches 0 of negative 2x minus h divided by x squared, x squared. Okay. Now, at this point, since I've simplified h, when you reach a stage where you've simplified h, you have to put 0 wherever there is h. So I'll put 0 and 0 there. I'm going to get this equal to negative 2x divided by x squared, x squared. Now, because this h is 0, that's why we have x squared, because it's going to be x plus 0 squared. So we're going to end up with x squared. Now I can simplify here. Can simplify, there is x there, there is 2 of them, so I can simplify 1. We're going to have negative 2 over this multiplied by that, we'll have x to the power 3. Now this would be the differentiation of this function using the first principle. So when you look at this, it is the same thing that we got using the general definition. So for this and more videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and thank you for watching.